We go live? Okay, good.
Okay. I already pressed the button.
It's all good.
Hi, everybody. So today we're gonna chat with Richard, and I think you watched our chat on connecting the dots with Roxanne and Richard, and probably have some questions to him or maybe to the topic that we discussed, and we probably ask Richard about his channel, what he's doing, what is his concept, and maybe discuss some recent news and answer some questions in chat. Okay. Hi, Richard.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Philip? Hi, everybody.
So,
Yep.
how long you on YouTube? For how long?
How I have a YouTube channel only for about 1 year, just a little over a year. I decided that I wanted to make videos and get people to a channel and put information together. Once I woke up to the flat Earth deception, yeah. Once I
So, what
once I
was
woke up to
the first channel that you watched that brought you to the flat Earth or something like this?
Well, I think the first thing I watched on Flat Earth was 200 Proofs, Earth's Not a Spinning Ball by Eric DeBay.
Eric
And
the
then
Bee.
after, yeah, and what I did was I double checked everything he said. So I literally, so the video is 2 hours long, documentary, and it probably took me 10 hours to watch it because I was literally double checking everything he said. Um, and then I was mind blown from there. Then I watched another video by Dave Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I watched his interview, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to research this.
All
Yeah.
right. So, what are right now? Who are you trusting in the bloggers? Blogosphere is very split. Somebody believes this or that blogger. I mean, bunch of photographers fell from the AE map concept to some other concepts. So who do you trust the most right now in the YouTube flat Earth community?
I think the Globe Busters have a really good show, and they dismantle the ball or every time they come on. I think they have a really good show. I think with the FE Core, what they're doing, the Field Engineers Core is doing for the flat Earth community is real good too as well. And that's made up of independent researchers that came together to disprove the globe. And I think that's really good. Jeranism does a really good job. Paul and a plane, those are some of the really good guys. Um, After watching that, and that kind of inspired me to start making my own videos, and because what I did was I started to once I woke up to the flat Earth, I started to do Uber so that I could meet people and say, hey, red pill or the blue pill. So, or
Yeah.
to pass the truth like that. Absolutely. And
Okay.
that's,
So where are you living right now? No,
well,
I mean, in the state or some in the states.
yes, I'm in the States. I'm in the state of Pennsylvania. Absolutely.
So
I'm in the state.
Philadelphia is pretty close to you.
Yes. Yes. I'm in the suburbs of Philly.
Oh. Have you seen any mud flood evidence in Philadelphia
I
or?
did. I did. When I started looking into the mud flood, I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. I went to Google Earth and I went to around the cities where I'm at. I'm like, well, I'm a firefighter. And the first thing I did was I went to the firehouse and I looked at all the old photos. And no joke, there's a photo in one of the bay, a black and white photo with a window underground where you only can see a little bit of it. And then that's when I looked at that photo. I was like, wow, wow. And then that's when I went home, looked on Google Earth, and it's all kind of evidence of mud flood, the ancient architecture that's all over the world. That's here. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, You know, I'm on YouTube for like maybe 7 years or so, but I'm also started the blog only 2 years ago, and
Okay.
you know, had some chats on Flat Earth and stuff like this. Have you seen any of those chats? The first chats that I made with
No, I
people?
haven't. No, I haven't yet. That's something that I still got to go into.
Okay, so you're not familiar with what my concept is, right?
Well, no, I know you. I know you know we live on a flat plane realm. I never really got into it. When I started to look into your channel, into what you did was all your mud flood research. But by talking to you and listening to you, I was like, okay, he knows we live on a flat. He knows we don't live on a spinning ball. So and then, so I didn't really have the question if. And then when I got a chance to meet you and talk to you, and then you just verified that. So.
So you guys plan to do a series of those chats on the Mudflat and Tartaria, right?
Yes, that's what we want to do. I still have to talk to Roxanne, my partner Roxanne. We do connecting the dots, and we want to do a 6-part video with you. So you're one of the best ones out there explaining this, and you inspired so many people to actually do this research by you going out there and showing people your research. You inspired a lot more people into the discussion over here in the States. Absolutely. So we want to get that. There's a lot of things to talk about. We want to talk about Tartaria, the Griffins. We want to talk about the Star Forts. We want to talk about the mud flood, to some of the ideas out there. Even it's mud volcanoes. We know all of it can't be liquefaction because the buildings will be cracking or bending over, or maybe it's a combination of both. We don't know. I think that's a discussion to have. This ancient technology, okay, the reasons for this your architecture, what that has to do with free energy. So we want to do it like a 6-part. This hidden empire, Tartaria. It's very
Okay.
fascinating. Very fascinating. Yes.
So I encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. The link gonna be in the description to this video after we stop the show, and it's gonna be edited by YouTube. Okay, let's see the chat if we have any questions from the viewers. Let's see. Guys, if you don't mind, just ask some questions, because we are like
Well, I'm very fascinated about is the resets. Resets are they resetting this place every 200 years? And if you look into the what evidence that we have in the photography, the manipulation of photography, a picture says 1,000 words. I mean, it really does. There's a lot of creepy stuff going on, and we're trying to put it all together right now. It's bizarre, very bizarre.
Yeah, we need
Matter of
people
fact,
in the US that gonna be taking some videos and pictures in their cities, so we can have more examples of it, because not many people believe it. Actually,
right?
we have to show the evidence and encourage them to go and check them by themselves in their towns. So it could be
Yes,
really moving things. And so
yes,
I would like to ask you, or maybe some other guys, to continue those shots of the modern buildings, because they're still left, and we can picture them.
yes. And it's overwhelming evidence too. And like you said on your last video, go out there and take those pictures, submit those pictures, give them to you. There's overwhelming evidence. But I want to ask you a question, Philip.
Okay.
Two things. First, I'm actually working on something right now called a video called it's going to be something about these red brick makers. I mean, these guys use red bricks for everything, and they were the master builders with these red bricks. And you can see evidence of other civilizations, covering those bricks up and reinforcing those red bricks or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. Also, too, is I'm starting to really think that a little something more sinister went on with these people that disappeared all over the place. And I see like these explosion patterns on these buildings, like someone just shot up these buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking something happened. Was these people playing with the technology, or did they, not only that mud came, but an explosion came and just, I don't want to say the word nuclear explosion, but just so people could understand, I'm really starting to lean that. Like, did our ancient civilizations that was here before us, did they build some type of, did they have some type of weapon, or where they just blew everybody up?
Perhaps.
I don't know. I want to show you a photo right now, and I want you to discuss it and let's talk about it. They say this photo. I'll try to find the information on this photo. They say it was taken somewhere in the 1800s, like 20, but we know photography wasn't supposed to come out. The first photo was like 1850s. That's another bizarre thing. I have a lot of photos that go before photography first came out. They have a problem with that. Do you mind if I share?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, then I want to let's talk about. I think this is very very good photo. I want to share with everybody. I want to share with you on your show. Um, let's bring this up a little bit. Can you see what I see now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to start first of all, I'll come down a little bit. I see this evidence of this building up here, and I see these people. Look at the bodies, the skeleton remains. So let's go up here a little bit more. Look at the skeleton remains on this photo. And remember, this is the type of architecture that we're seeing. Okay. And look, they came here. Look at these bodies on here. And from this time period, like, how long do you think this happened before these people here? You still got like, some of them got like the robes on,
I
whatever
think
they were
like
wearing.
2-3 years maybe. Not more.
Right. Exactly. And we know what happens with dogs and cats and scavengers around. You get something like a mud flood reset. These dogs are going to go into packs, and they'll start eating everything that's around. If there are any dogs that have survived this event. But I'm thinking something more sinister happened. If you look at look at the blast marks in these buildings. So let's come down a little bit. You see, like up here, blast marks on it. It just looked like it's like something like a terrible explosion happened. And if you look at these pictures from the city, I mean, they're all it's unbelievable. It's like you see all these holes. Like even the Civil War photos, you see these blast marks, like a big explosion happened, and you don't see any mud over here. So I'm thinking like there's like a big explosion that happened. Some places got wiped out, other places got mudded out. I don't know, but I wanted to share this with you. And
What year?
and look,
What year is it, and where is it taken?
well, I can't find. That's what I'm saying. So the article, not the article, but the thing is, it had mentioned. They said it was. I'm still trying to.
Looks
I'm
like
trying to figure out.
Africa, Asia, something like this.
Yeah, it looks like That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Like somewhere like in India or in
Yeah,
that kind of region
Pakistan.
or something. Yeah, Pakistan or something like that. But I was like, I looked at these bodies. I was looking at it. I was looking for the architecture. And then I looked for the ground. I was like, what? Like, wow, I bet these were the people before this reset. Now, when was this? Was this a photo from 2 resets ago? Who knows? I mean, that's how they're manipulating these photos. But this is the type of architecture. So this looks like it's been here for, longer than, where these people come from. And now I'm starting to do more research, Philip, with these orphans, how they had these orphan trains, and they were just shipping these kids all over the world. Where did these kids come from? And that's the question. Where did they come from? So, and that's what I wanted to just kind of share with you, and kind of go over with that. What do you think?
I think it needs to be at least we're supposed to know the year and supposed to know the place and in what context.
Yeah.
Find the source of this picture and maybe find some other ones, because if there's one
Yeah.
picture, probably there's a couple of them. I've seen one website where we have a bunch of old pictures, and if you want people, I'll maybe add a link to the description of it. It's a bunch of pictures there.
Mm.
Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. What about microwaves and all this stuff?
Yeah.
So what do you
Directed
think?
energy. Directed energy.
People
John
ask.
Levi. Yeah, John Levi. He just did a good video yesterday. I mean, I'll send you the link so you can put it in the description as well. Oh my gosh, they had these kids from Russia, take apart this microwave, right?
Yeah, I was the one who made the first video about this, guys.
Oh, get out of here! I didn't know that. It was funny how it comes back around. I didn't know that at all.
Like a year ago, something like this.
I never seen it before.
Yeah, we
take
laugh
apart
at those guys. They somewhere in the Ukraine or something like this. There's a bunch of them in Russia.
Can you pull up the video right now and show everybody what we're talking about?
Well, I'll try to. If you continue to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was fascinating because it's directed energy. These guys the ancients were using directed energy. They were using directed energy. And so we're thinking that's what the fascists was about.
Mm-hmm.
Or these scepters. I mean, these scepters were supposedly, mythology says that they were turning these things to dust, like they could turn things into dust. And we see buildings into dust. We see cities that were into dust. I mean, there's a lot of, you look at these ancient maps and you see like cities that once there and now they're deserts. And,
yeah.
So, a lot of things it's a lot of information. It's mind boggling I think that what people have a hard time doing is try to understand and even fathom that the ancients before us had technology far more advanced than we know about today. And I think that now is militarized,
Yeah, perhaps. Well, I can't find it. It's to have too many videos here.
Okay, well, no problem. Let me see. Okay, go ahead and talk, and I'm gonna find it real quick. I'll find the video. I think it's very interesting. I think that people should to check that out because it's mind blowing. Give me a second, and let me see if I can pull it up.
So, what do you guys think about the hole in the ISS story? Have you heard about it? The whole International Space Station, like that was not long ago. That was stuck with the finger of one astronaut or somebody.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, one of the astronauts plugged the hole into the ISS.
Yeah,
it's all nonsense.
Yeah,
the problem is, Philip, we wasn't paying attention before. Now we are. We're paying attention to everything they do, and here we go. I found it. Okay. All right. So let me just go back and let me screen share. All right, it's called Free Energy Megatron. I'll send you the link so you can put it in the description. Wow.
And again, all we're lacking is the generation of it, and we're not missing it. I mean, all these older technologies show us this, and that's what these old churches and cathedrals and buildings, and that's what they're doing. They're simple shapes of symmetry are gathering energy. Now, I think maybe what is missing is the storage of this energy. So now we have the output. Now we see how a fascist could work. We have the output. We have the input. We're gathering energy, but all we're missing now is the gathering or storage of this energy. And perhaps it's as simple as a modern battery. Batteries have come a long way, and yet even in ancient Egypt we see an Egyptian battery, and they were doing batteries with copper and a vessel with perhaps a vinegar and acid on one.
So I'll give you the link so you can put that in the description. But I just want to see, like, when I saw that, I was like mind blown, man. I was like, oh wow, that's
Yeah.
that's amazing, that you could actually do that, and they're hiding that technology in this contraption and say, oh, don't go near it, it's bad. It's like that
Yeah, yeah.
that guy that was working. He was head of the nuclear power. I forgot his name, and he was like he demonstrated that plutonium was harmless. He swam in the water with the nuclear reactors, and he literally ate plutonium. And I think we're being lied to about everything, just to hide free energy.
You,
So
you
he,
know, I have a 1 hour video with the guy who was working as a deputy on the nuclear testing site. I was riding to my office on a taxi, and the guy was like old, like 60
right,
plus, maybe 70 years old. I said like,
right,
whoa, man, why you like working? He said like, I don't want to sit at home. And so we like started talking and talking, and then he starts.
right.
I was like 22 years blowing up nucleus at the nuclear site. I said, what? He said, yes, I am a deputy of the nuclear site in Semipalatinsk in Kazakhstan, which was a part of USSR. And so, like,
Okay.
I have an 1 hour video talking with him. So, but he didn't see any radiation. That was his clear
Mm,
answer. So he's like saying, yes, there is a nuclear weapons that they call them nuclear, but there is no radiation that he or any other person observed at the site because they made underground explosions, only underground. It was an
mm,
underground nuclear explosion testing a polygon site. So it was like a huge territory, like maybe half of
right.
Wyoming, something like this. I mean, even more. So it's
Wow.
like a huge territory. So, and he saw also the ground explosion, all those, how do you call them? Craters, right?
Okay. Yes.
He confirmed that there were craters and of the air explosions and the ground explosions. But he also confirmed that there were no radiation there because
None.
one of the craters was a lake, and they were fishing in this lake and eating the fish, and nobody died, at least for 20 years. So that they were working there for 20 years. So he was like, fishing every day in this lake, and that lake was the crater of the explosion from the 50s or something like this. So
Oh wow. Oh wow. So
yeah,
what's this deal with Chernobyl, man? I mean, I know I understand the official narrative, but what's the real truth about this, since we're on this topic?
I'm not very familiar with the cause of this stuff, but I think it was just some seismic weapon because there was a crack
Mm,
and there was a leak, and that caused the explosion of itself. So they either didn't know the seismic activity in the area, and they put it in on purpose at that place. So it was like a crisscross of seismic activity there,
mm,
intersection something like this. And there's a version, a theory that they put it there for creating this catastrophe on purpose. So perhaps that could be leading to the end of the Soviet Union. And it was a very big strike on Soviet, and so a bunch of people really suffered from that tragedy. So, but I've seen a lot of footage that the people working there, and they just didn't care about the radiation also. So I'm not really confirming there's no radiation at all, but this is what the guy said. I've asked him a couple of times, so how many explosions did you make? He said like 220, something like this. And he said there were no radiation because they made something like, some precautions, like you said. So nobody's like going in the area first, and also they did degazation and something like this, so that all those bubbles of gases that could be contained in the explosion area would be, like let out with the high pressure, so there will be no bubbles after the explosion. Okay. So they were like testing it, and they saw even mountains, raising in the air for a couple of seconds after the explosion. So it was like huge explosions. Everybody felt it. So he's like, I'm sure pretty much, he's like 100% sure that they did those explosions, that those explosions are really powerful. But he could not confirm radiation. So
right. Same thing with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There's there's plant life growing. There's people living there right now. It's and people can't connect the dots.
So we are not saying that there's no radiation at all, but perhaps there's not that much that they tell us, so that it's harmful to the people and stuff like this. Look at Fukushima. Right. It's supposed to be leaking whole Pacific area already. Would be, you will be poisoned by radiation, but it's not. Like people eating from that area, collecting their food, seafoods, like a bunch of stuff there.
You know what I'm starting to think now, Philip? I'm thinking no matter what we do or how hard we try, we cannot mess this earth up. We can't. We could terraform it. We could build stuff on it. We can make the biggest explosions, but this place. Because think about it. It's supposed to be 70% of water, right? 71% of water, right? It's more water, right? There's stories out saying that the ocean levels are actually low end, right? So if this place is like a lake, okay, how the land holds in the water, well, water is very fascinating, it's magical. What if the water was seeping through the ground, just cleaning out and coming back in? And, and they know that, and that's how they're getting the mud, and that's how you're getting all the, who knows? But it makes you think. This is a super,
Have you seen the video when I talked about the causes or possible causes like a year ago? And I've been talking about the fast vaporization of the forest area, if it's burned on purpose or, carpet bombed with the fire explosions. So the huge forest area vaporizes its liquids while burning. You're a fireman, you know what I'm talking about. This is enormous amounts of steam at the forest fire. And like if you see it as like a whole area in Siberia, like whole forest would be burned at the same time. Just imagine how many vapor would come to the atmosphere, and would be, all this ash and all this smoke would be really a big mess in some heavy raining or something like this. So it could be used. It could be used to, produce even a snow, and even maybe some freezing temperatures. Ice. So that could be causing the mud of stuck animals to be frozen in a couple of minutes. So that's why they like frozen, and still could be eaten by the dogs. All those mammoths in Siberia, they still find them, and they feed their dogs.
and it seemed like they're
So
frozen in time. And you find it
yeah,
seemed like they're
yes,
frozen in time, right? Like that, you know.
yeah. It's
Um,
like your theory about bombing stuff and all those marks on the walls. Yes, it could be bombed, and we've been talking about it, and so probably it could be, but it could be after the flood or maybe before the flood. Who knows? What's
yeah,
technology itself? But still, we see flood perhaps everywhere, but we don't see the
yeah,
marks from the explosions right now. That doesn't mean there were no explosions. In fact,
right,
bombers have the bombs in their hands, so they could be, attacking the house, with the bombs from the outside. It's easy to imagine. At least it's not like very technological thing to grab a grenade and throw it in the house. That could
right.
be causing those damages on in the picture because they're not that big.
Mm,
It's not the nuclear explosion damage. It's just a couple of grenades or some, not heavy weapons.
right. But yeah, you could just like I've been noticing that. I'm like they just you could just see like these pattern marks, like something like how you spray, like you shoot a shotgun and then you got the
Yeah,
spray marks. You see these holes and it's like something like ripped this place apart. And you don't see any fire damage. It just seemed like it was
yeah.
like a big explosion. And some of these buildings are all the windows are blown out. Um, it's
It could
you
be
know,
light artillery, like the grenade throwers, like all
yeah,
this type of stuff. So it's
yeah,
like they could be left like a couple of miles from the area and throwing those grenades to the city. Could be
yeah.
like
Who
this.
knows? Who knows? If you look on like I said, John Levi, he actually did another video, and he showed what we have a place called Death Valley here. It's sort of
Mhm.
like in the Midwest of the country, and he shows where these bomb like craters in the earth, and you see on top or like on beneath them, like exploded, like exploded like in buildings that existed or installations that existed there, and these were strategically placed bombs, but it wasn't in our lifetime. This was in the civilization before us because there's no history of them bombing that area like that. You understand what I mean? That is from a different timeline. And then what's interesting is you can go on Google Earth, find ancient railroad tracks, ancient roads, ancient airports that, like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Like,
Yeah, I
there's
think
ancient
that it
airports.
was not that long ago. It was 200 years
Yeah,
ago. It's not.
yeah, man. Crazy, man.
I made a video about railroads and all this stuff. So
Mhm.
there's a bunch of tunnels, all this stuff. It's just abandoned communication system. They're really expensive to maintain. And so how can you explain to your deputies what is that? So you just close the site and just don't let anyone in. That's
That's
it.
right. Right. Feed them a
Or,
bunch of
or if
nonsense.
you can use it, you use it. So a bunch of Russian intelligence services use those tunnels in Moscow and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How long when you first heard about Tartaria,
Mm-hmm.
like how long ago was it? And what was
Like
what was your like how'd you feel? Like what was your impression?
so, it was like 2005 or 2004, something like
Oh
this.
wow.
It's like, yeah, it's a
That's a
long
long
ago.
time.
But
And
it was just ordinary thing. Just wow, you didn't
yeah.
hear anything about it. So we like starting to read the books and starting to find all these maps. One and then some guys put it on the archive. We have a website in Russia that was archiving all these interesting topics, videos, all those maps, and
Mhm.
then they blocked them, and then they made a second
Mm,
one and they blocked the second one. So it's
are
like,
you serious?
yeah, so it's like
Wow.
some people still have those archives of those website copies. Like they even wanted people to download them for the future times. But right now, if I read all these articles, I'd be probably laughing at them because most of them they were misunderstood and interpreted the wrong way at that time. But the texts are still good to read. You can read them and maybe find them on the internet if you want to. But I really don't want to mess with it because it's just a cost um, for charging you for this information is could be criminally charged. So
Oh wow. Okay, I see what's going
I
on.
don't
Yeah.
read it, I don't watch it, I don't download it, not to give them any
Oh
chance to ask me to
yeah,
pay.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't. I
I've
didn't.
been
That
stuck
makes
to talk
sense.
on that in the connecting of those, but maybe you misunderstand me first. So it's like a
Oh yeah.
criminally charged information.
Oh wow. I didn't know that. See, I mean, and that's, I mean, and it's different over here in the States. Like, yeah, we can talk. I mean, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna find out what's going on because you're saying that there was Tartaria, possibly the biggest empire ever, and they completely it's
Yeah, you can talk
complicit.
about Tartaria. You can talk about Tartaria, but you can't talk
Yeah.
what was before the Tartaria. This is very important.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. So, what's the sense of people out there in where you're at? Do you think people are awakened to a lot what's going on out there, or is it like here a lot of people still sleeping?
Well, I think we have more in percentage, but less
Okay,
in numbers. So it's
okay.
like, but pretty
So
much the
people know.
same. So it's like equal on both sides. So it's like West grows. It's like throwing all this information to the East. If East is better, East throws all the information to the West. So
Mm,
it's like
that's how we do it.
an exchange of information area right now. So YouTube
Oh
is
wow.
very large in different authors, and so people like exchange the opinions. I think it's great, but I think
Yeah,
YouTube is starting to die, and if Facebook gets it, we're gonna be switching to Facebook.
yeah. And we know the way we see it out here in the United States is that Facebook is definitely bought and ran by the CIA as well.
Yeah,
I mean, these people control. They have to because they lied about everything, so they have to control everything. You get a big company, you get big enough, they buy it, they absorb it, they give you enough money to get out of here. They buy it. They own all the technology. They own everything. So, but what they can't do is what they're trying to do. And they're trying to do it now. There's going to be a lot of big changes with this new EU law coming up because they're going to, under the false name of copyright, where you can't even share damn Mimi. And it's going to be ridiculous and it's going to be interesting. And just another part of the censorship nonsense that's going on. Yeah. Are you guys, is that going to affect you guys as well over there or no?
perhaps. I think that bad times are really coming, and we have like a window of opportunity till 20, maybe 2024,
Yeah.
something like this, not more. So this is just the time that we can decide what we're gonna do next. If we cannot decide that, probably we're gonna be kept in the slavery forever.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. And they'll do anything to protect us. But what I'm thinking, Philip, I'm thinking there's a power struggle right now between evil and good. And that's why a lot of this stuff is leaking out right now. Because there's some people out there that know what's going on and it's a struggle right now. I think it's a struggle. I think it's an old war that's going on and it's continuing going on. Um, it's definitely mind blowing and interesting. It's mind blowing. I mean, mind blowing. I mean,
So who do you guys recommend as your favorite channels about the mud flood? So the people who share.
well, we like you have to watch Wise Up. Wise Up, he exposes the archaeology fraud, and he the way he looks at things, he does his own research. He actually go to these places, but he can see. I mean, and he could just show you like this stuff used to be metal. These were just big metal pieces, and it turned into stone. That's where metal comes from. Metal comes from stone. I mean, excuse me, exactly. It just comes from the earth. So it just after it sits a while, it goes back. And these bolts, just to show you that the ancients were far more technologically advanced than what academia is claiming them to be. And that's really good. He puts really good stuff. One of my favorite YouTube channels. I think New Earth is doing a really good job. And really, I watch her all the time, and a really good job what she's doing with the whole megalith.
Could you explain me her concept? Is she, trying to say what she's trying to say with all this?
Well, I don't like. She's saying this is it can't be all stone cut stuff. Like they're saying that the ancients carved this out of stone. And that's not.
Is there any resume on the topic? Is she like saying this is because of this, like something like?
No, I think she does a really good job commentary on the evidence that she shows. She actually goes out to these places as well and looks at this evidence and finds and made all the evidence of advanced civilization in the building and the architecture. There's so much evidence of them melting buildings, and it looks like melted stone. But they melted. They were using energy weapons or something happened where it just melted these cities and just melted. It just looked like. I mean, it just melted.
We've been thinking about the melted buildings, melting constructions, like it was those so-called nuclear air explosions. They create very high temperatures and could be melting the stone,
right? Or they had some technology that that we directed energy. Hey, who knows? Anything's possible now. And they were just melting these cities. Boom, we'll melt your city. We know. Who knows?
Yeah,
who
perhaps.
Knows?
Yeah. Very good information. And in fact, in those books that are right now prohibited, this weapon was not called nuclear, it was called Pharaohs, the destroyer. Pharaohs, the destroyer.
Wow.
So that's why.
Yeah, Pharaohs, the God destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, Pharaohs, the destroyer. Right. So the people that right now talking about the Pharaohs weapon or whatever, this magnetron.
Yeah.
So this
and
is
the scepters.
You have to understand that this technology was called like this similar sounding name, Pharaohs.
Okay. And these scepters. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? The scepters. You know what I'm talking about?
Scepters.
Yeah, man. Check this out. Oh, I'm gonna screen share real quick. Let me show you.
You mean those things, the devices in the hands of the pharaohs and all those guys? Yeah, I've been talking about it. Yeah, this is the manual, the remote control or something like this. All the miniature devices that could be producing different.
Yeah, something like these. I mean, these things right here. These scepters.
Yeah.
And then you could actually see. Yeah, it's just mind blowing. Here we go, scepters. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Spelling it wrong. Right, like what? Like do we? And we just look at them. We're like, oh, okay, they just look like they're ornamental, but maybe if they were doing something, that we didn't understand. And like I tell people, just because I don't understand it doesn't mean. Look at that. Come on, man. That looks like a device. That looks like a damn device. And if they're hiding about the energy and maybe they didn't need to use batteries because they were always getting the energy out the ether. I mean, who knows? I mean, because the reason why we don't know is because they want to make money off of it. They don't want you to know about free energy. And it's just amazing. Look at these things. And just look at these things. Like they look like you direct energy towards there? And these things are said to turn things into dust. This story saying that you could turn things to dust with these. All right, so. And I think this is interesting. I mean, we're talking. We got the fascists, but yeah, you got the fact, but we also got these scepters that they were all wielding around. They were wielding around these things. They were using some type of technology, and that we have no clue. I mean, what was sitting, in there. What was sitting in there. We got to question everything. Look at this. I mean, you're not gonna just make something like that for no reason. Very, 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 very interesting. So, it's
like we say in Russia, the further you walk in the forest, the fatter or the the thicker they're gonna be gorillas.
Yeah, exactly. Like the rabbit hole gets deep, and the good thing about it is we have a team of people. A lot of people are really looking into this, really kind of sharing ideas, sharing theories, and kind of trying to everybody's connecting dots, and it's beautiful. I love it. It's very fascinating, very time consuming too.
Yeah,
There's not enough hours in a day. Not enough hours in a day.
Anyways,
awesome.
Richard, thanks a lot for joining me tonight, and I think we had a nice chat. So people will probably be easy to find Richard and Roxanne on the YouTube channels.
Absolutely.
So see you later, guys, and thanks a lot for watching.
Bye.
Bye.